Hey, everybody, it's David Nagel. Welcome to another episode of the Successful Mind podcast. Today, I have the amazing Joshua Esnard of The Cut Buddy. He is an inventor, entrepreneur, the CEO of his company, and I just welcome, man. It is so cool to have you here. I cannot wait to get into your story with everybody.
David, thanks for having me. I read a little bit about your story, and you're an amazing guy. So thank you for the opportunity to allow me to share my story or help any of your listeners get that successful mindset up.
Well, we have our following, our listeners, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business people, and they're extremely intrigued with the journey that people went on, the ups and downs, the goods, the bads, the struggles, and what it took to actually build what you've done. But would you just take a couple of minutes and tell everybody what it is that you created? Because it's absolutely amazing in my mind.
Yeah, sure. This story I always say starts many moons ago, and it actually was created from struggle. So I'm from a small country, developing country named St. Lucia. My parents had me pretty young, and my dad is old school. Like, he's the real life hack DIY guy. Like, he has to fix everything, do everything, learn every trade, like all the way from painting a house, fixing a bike, to being the guy who cuts your hair. So my dad was cutting my hair for many years until I was 13 years old, and he only had one haircut. And I know that many people had, especially during COVID, many people's parents had to pick up the clipper for the first time and figure out how to cut their kids' hair. My dad only had one haircut, and it was a buzz cut. Did your dad ever cut your hair, or you ever tried to cut your hair?
No, but my mother did. Well, it was horrible.
Exactly. So any parent picking up the clipper, you're not going to get that desired haircut. So, I was getting around the age of 13. I got the cool, name brand clothes. I went to TJ Maxx and got some FUBU and stuff like that. And my shoes are cool. And, I'm looking good. I'm ready to ask girls on dates, and I want to be popular in like middle school, about end of middle school. But my hair is looking crazy because my dad's only given me that buzz cut. So I kind of said, let me try and cut my own hair, because he's not going to pay for a barber, or he's not going to do, he's going to be the one cutting my hair. So I started cutting my hair, and I'd give myself bald spots. I'd be like, as a 13-year-old, bald spots. I look like a cheetah. I still to this day have like a complex because I wear hats a lot because I used to mess up my hair so much. But I realized the hardest part about cutting your hair is not necessarily getting this to level. It's to make sure that the hairlines on your head, and I don't have hair now, hairlines on your head or your beard are perfectly a curve or a straight line. And doing that with just freehand is like trying to draw a masterpiece cartoon. It's very hard. So I realized that the best approach is to create a template to stop myself from going too far. Okay. And that way I can just cut any exposed hair. And, I actually just cut up like detergent bottle. I'm giving away my secret, but it doesn't matter because I made my money by now. Yeah. I cut up detergent bottles and cardboard boxes, pizza boxes, and made these shapes. And I used them to outline my hair for 15 years. I didn't really think I had an invention or something great,
So you were just trying to solve this problem that you were having. And you're like, how do I solve this? And you start making these templates out of boxes and whatnot. In order, when did it occur to you that you had something that could be marketable or that you could turn into a business?
So that's a great question. 15 years later, I used the tool as like before dates, before going out, before job interviews. And I actually was moving into a condo with my girlfriend, and we tried to fit a treadmill. You're going to ask, where is this going? We were trying to fit a treadmill through a door. And Jamie, my wife now, she's like, we can't fit this treadmill through. So we had to take the door off of the hinges because the door was too narrow and the door was, kind of jamming the space. So we took the door off the hinges, pushed this big treadmill that we don't even use till this day into the garage. And I was so tired because this thing was so clunky. And she said, all right, put the door back on the hinges, because we had a landlord. We didn't want to get in trouble. And I was like, maybe I'll do it some other time. And I remember she looked at me and just pointed at me like dead in my face and said, you never finish what you start. And it's funny that that was the moment that I realized that maybe I was content. My friend Andy Enriquez, he wrote a book called Show Up for Your Life. I wasn't showing up for my life, basically. I was just happy with my day job, you know, every day, wake up, make a little money at my job, pay off my bills, cycle.
What
But her
was your
saying
day job
that,
at the time? What was your day job?
I worked at Broward College in Fort Lauderdale, and I was doing professional development. So the easiest way to explain my job was I teach teachers how to teach.
Okay.
So everything from leadership skills to sexual harassment trainings to teaching them how to build their websites. That's what we did. So that's actually where I learned how to sharpen a lot of my swords. But back to the story is we were pushing this in. And when she said, you never finish what you start, it was more than me just putting the door back on the hinges and finishing my chore. It was that I was too lazy in life, and I took it more serious. And I was like, what should I pursue? And the first thing I remembered to pursue was this book I actually had since a teenager that has all my inventions in it. I can't open it too much because some of these are top secret, but literally the first page and the second page are that little template tool that sat by my sink, trusty for 15 years that I was cutting my hair. And that's how I chose to start the Cut Buddy. I went to a patent lawyer with that book, and the first page just happened to be the Cut Buddy. So for all I know, page 3 to 50 might be a bunch of great products as well. But it was just the first page, and that's how I chose to go about it.
How did you feel when she said to you, you don't finish what you start? How did that make you feel?
So as a man, and I don't want to sound like chauvinistic, especially because it's Women's Month. As a man, it hit my pride because I feel, growing up in the Caribbean, I feel that it's my job to take care of the family or be the leader, the one to carry the torch.
Sure.
So when she said you never finish what you start, it made me feel like I didn't amount to really nothing in life. Although I had a pretty good job and we were paying bills just fine, but I think she saw so much more potential. And I was so used to going to my job, going to the bar, going out, waking up with a hangover, going to my job, going to the bar. And that was just life, So I'm glad she had said that, because we'd never be in this position today.
So it hit your pride a little bit. And at what point did you decide, hey, this is something I need to listen to, and then start to realize that this had potential as far as the direction of your life and what you could accomplish? How'd that work out?
Yeah, so the timing was literally when she said that. The next week, I was like on a path to prove her wrong. So I went to the patent lawyer with my idea book. And from that point, when we filed the patent, the patent's going to take a year to actually get approved. But Obama had changed the rule for intellectual properties. Once you file the patent, you are actually credited as the inventor. And then whenever it's approved, you're just approved for the patent. So once I filed my patent and it was being approved by the USPTO office, I started trying to get funds for my business. And that was tough because I went to all these pitch competitions, and I remember like pitching my heart out because I thought I had the best idea ever, and literally it'd be crickets. I would lose every pitch competition. They would choose an app or AI, like the sexy new tech thing. And they're like, the Cut Buddy, what? This isn't going to change the world. And you know what? I think 90% of those business that pitched with me aren't even alive till today. So I wasn't able to get any funds because people thought this was weird and too simple. So I bootstrapped all my money in my credit cards, literally went to if I had made a mistake, I would have been homeless. My grandma passed away from COVID, unfortunately, exactly a month ago today. She gave me money that she couldn't even afford to give. My parents gave me a few hundred. So with this little $3,000 to $5,000 that I had, and I had filed a patent, I had to manufacture products, design a product, and design a website and launch the company. And I think that's kind of where my background with professional development and being at Broward College really helped, because I learned about websites, I learned about, management and finances and things. And I also had a finance degree from FSU. So I bootstrapped my company. No one wanted to invest in me. I literally put myself against the wall like Ali on Robodope, and I had to punch very smart, because if I messed up, I'm homeless. We're literally homeless. You don't have
Right.
any option, and I can't go live back with my parents. I graduated in 2008 when the recession had to live with my parents for 5 years after that. I couldn't leave their house and go back. That just would really kill my pride. So, yeah.
So did you have, so here's what I'm trying to figure out. Your girlfriend says this to you, that you don't finish what you start. Your pride is wounded a little bit. You're gonna kind of try to prove her wrong. Where did a bigger vision come in for your idea and your business? Or was this just all kind of pushing against the wounded pride thing at this point? And how long did that take?
So I was pushing against the pride all the way until I got rejected in pitch competitions. I manufactured the product. It showed up in my garage, and it wasn't selling fast. And when I really realized what our big vision was I got an email from a disabled veteran that said, I take medication and my hands shake. And because of my hands shake, I can never cut my hair properly. And because of your product, I can put the product against my face and steady my hand and cut my hair. And they said, I would like to thank you for making such a beautiful product, because even people with disabilities now can now have nice haircuts too. And this whole time I was pushing against, I was a nobody. I wasn't showing up for my life. No one wants to invest in my company. I'm gonna prove them wrong. I'm gonna prove them wrong. But when I got that email, that was the point that I realized, wow, there is a mission here. Instead of revenge and making money, I'm actually helping people with confidence and having a good haircut and making haircuts easy. So I looked at my reviews and I'm realizing that mothers with 2 autistic children are using my product. Military veterans, active duty. You can't, over in Japan, you want to leave the base and you want to go get a cut from a Japanese bar, they're probably going to bust up your hair, So, just knowing that this was something that was actually helping people with confidence, or not to get in trouble and have to do push-ups in military camp, or because they have disabled children or they were disabled themselves, I really realized that I had a mission at that point. And once I had that foundation and I created my mission, that's when the foundation of the whole business started to boom and build.
How did that feel at that point?
I cried. Till this day, I still have, I have my new office here, but in my house, I still have that email stuck on my wall. I attribute a lot of my success to that email. And we give back primarily to veterans with disabilities, with mental health and dexterity issues because of that email. So it made me feel whole as someone who's helping. And I think I feel better about helping people than making a lot of money. And it's funny because when you feel better about helping people, somehow the money comes in better than when you're just focusing on the money,
I totally agree with that. I mean, there's a fulfillment that you feel, there's a sense of purpose. It's more than just this thing or an idea. You see how you're actually contributing to humanity in your unique way of what you're doing. Where did this whole story with Shark Tank come into this?
So that's a great question too. So from that veteran, I realized that a lot of things I was doing marketing wise wasn't working out. I was cutting my own hair and doing videos on YouTube. And you see, I'm bald here. I was going bald and I was using a hairline tool. So a lot of people were making fun of me, although we were making some sales. So what I ended up doing when I got that email from the veteran, I realized that this veteran pointed out I should go look at my reviews on Amazon or wherever and find who my demographics are. And by using those demographics, I was able to go onto YouTube and find affiliates that match those demographics, those target markets. So I had those guys do videos of my product. They had a following anywhere from 5,000 to 20,000 followers. I gave them a coupon code for the customers. And I also said I'd pay them 10% of each sale. So they did reviews. I had 4 of them at first. They did a review on YouTube and my sales went from 5 or 2 sales per day when I was ready to give up to when the veteran sent me that email and I got these affiliates, sales jumped up to 20, 100, 400 sales a day until 3 months after we launched, we went viral with one of those videos. And we hit 12 million views. And I sold thousands of units in just a few hours. I didn't even have the units in my garage because I didn't know how to control inventory on my boo-boo Wix site. Don't ever start a business with Wix. And I hope they're not a sponsor of your show. Use Shopify. But that viral launch made me a #1 bestseller on Amazon. GQ, Forbes, Black Enterprise, all these people followed me and did stories on us. And what that did was created buzz with Shark Tank. So I didn't actually go to a mall like American Idol and pitch my product. I was actually scouted by the show, but I still had to go through the same rigorous, elimination process after that. But they scouted me and said, do you want to be on Shark Tank? And, 5 months of practicing, and it was June and I flew out to Culver City and shot the show. My son was being born 1 week later. So I was nervous, excited, angry for some reason, sad. My whole body had a flood of emotions when I was on that show. So if you watch the show in season 9, I was crying a lot during that show. It was a nice episode.
Now, with the idea with Shark Tank, what were you hoping to get out of that? Is this kind of at the point where, in order for your business to really move forward, you needed funding at this? Is that what it was at that point?
So realistically, it wasn't mainly the funding aspect. It was that kid who challenged his father and created an invention, then got challenged by his wife, and it hurt his pride, to a guy launching a business for the first time who had never launched a business. So you're talking about 15 years of research and development, not knowing that this is what was going to end up happening, but 3 months of a business starting and launching in 3 months, and it went viral. So imagine I launch my website, go viral in 3 months. The kind of development that a CEO has to go through from a little baby, a fetus, to being a teenager, basically, a viral company, I wasn't ready for that. So I was seeking a strategic partner and mentor specifically from Shark Tank. And the funding would be nice too, because we're scaling and trying to get into retail. But it's particularly, I needed an heir and a mind.
Gotcha. And so how did that work out then?
It was good. So Daymond and I's relationship is more of that brotherly relationship, so he looks out more like a mentor than a partner. The relationship that we actually ended up doing was for a licensing deal. Okay. We ended up licensing the patent to a major corporation who would put the product in all the retail stores. And that way we can sit back and collect royalties. So I was able to collect royalties for 3 years, started a truffle farm in North Carolina. And, you know, I had my son, and it kind of allowed me to do like the retirement thing. And I think the only reason why I kind of got up and started saying, you know what, let me get out and actually scale this company instead of renting out my intellectual property was primarily because of the, you know, the events of COVID and the events of the George Floyd murders. I mean, just the police brutality, just the whole thing about, you know, being a Black-owned, Black invented company. I felt like I was sitting on the sidelines, and I could have been more powerful and influential by scaling my company with all these ideas that I knew were addressing to people that had all these barriers or disabilities and things like that. So that's kind of why I've gotten up recently and started scaling the company and branding it ourselves instead of, you know, leaving it as a licensing thing.
Before we started the show today, you were telling me about some stuff that's going on with Walmart. What's happening there?
Yeah, it's crazy. So Walmart, I hit up Walmart a few months ago about my brand. I also hit up some other retailers that we're talking to right now about my brand, and they loved the story, and they brought us on as a featured vendor. But the crazy thing about it is, from the time I spoke to them, which was right after, maybe around December, from the time I spoke to them to the time they want the product in the store, which is this week, basically, it's like 3-4 months. So you're talking about manufacturing, electronic data interchange, which is EDI. That's just how the retailer talks to you by transferring documents and purchase orders, you know, routing trucks, setting up warehouse and 3PL and logistics. So all these things that we weren't used to as just like a garage house company has now come to life, and they want a nationwide rollout. You know, I mean, we're talking about every major Walmart in the country. So that's what I've been battling with is I asked for the growth. I asked for the expansion, and I got it way too fast. It seems like this company, whenever it gets into something, it's like that magical 3 months or 4 months until a viral movement or a retailer or something happens. And that's what's going on right now, you know? So we're super excited because our brand will actually be on the shelves in a Walmart. And then, you know, we're talking to some other really big retailers as well. So we're excited. It's just that now is the time when we are talking about a funding round, you know. So we're approaching some venture capitalists and some groups, particularly with the mindset that we're a company that makes haircuts easy, primarily for people from multicultural backgrounds. And we create products and do research for products for people with disabilities, primarily dexterity issues. Oh. And the reason why half of that mission is part of our new branding is from that veteran 5 years ago who had the dexterity issue. So a lot of the things we create, this is unreleased right now, but a military veteran actually designed this tool. It's a shaver. And, you know, a lot of companies sell you a shaver that is not really thinking about the person with disabilities, right? You're doing this and that, my wrist starts hurting. But this veteran created this shaver. It's a dry shaver. You could be driving a truck and do this. But when you do this, your arm, your wrist and your arm isn't hurting, you know, and you're shaving your head and you can shave it bald. So these are the things that I feel that major brands are putting on their cover and their commercials. Like, hey, we're serving Black people, or hey, we're serving Jews, or hey, we're serving people with disabilities. come invest in our company by buying our products, but they're not designing products primarily for the issues that demographic is facing.
Sure.
So that is what we do. We research and design. We don't just advertise, because you can go buy a clipper in the dog section, primarily in the section where white people might shop, and you can go to the black section in store. Unfortunately, there are separation of this in stores. Right. The black section where the clippers are. You will get the same exact clipper, comb, scissors, and oil and guards for your clipper in the dog one, in the black one, and in the white one. All they're doing is just changing the face on the cover. And I can guarantee you that. You pick up any clipper in any of those sections, and that's what you're getting. Now, they're putting someone like me on the cover. They don't realize that I need a brush to cut my hair. I need a specific comb to cut my hair. I like to do a razor edge up with my hair. I like to zero gap my trimmers. They're not making the product for me. They're just putting me on the front of the cover. And I think that's a major issue with products in general. Big companies have gotten away with owning the retail space and knowing that they're going to get that space every year. So let's just change the model on the front of the box and sell it to whoever, And if I die tomorrow, you know what happened.
Tell me where you see your company going.
So where I see this company going is primarily going with those offshoots, being a development company. We strive on intellectual property, and I wouldn't get into any game unless I had the patent or trademark for something. We want to design tools with specific struggles in mind. And that's where we're going to go as a growth of a company. It'll always specifically be for multicultural areas and people with disabilities. And we want to be the leader in that space in making haircuts easy. During COVID, people couldn't go to the barber, couldn't go to the salon, and they were ready to jump off of a building. They were like scared because they had to pick that trimmer up and cut their kids' hair, cut their own hair. But what they realized is that the tools that they're getting, the tools were not proper for a beginner. And that's why you're nervous about cutting hair. And the Cut Buddy or any of the tools we provide in our kits make you feel more confident. They're not going to turn you into a pro, but they're going to take away 50% of that anxiety of, damn, I got to go cut my little son's hair. I'm about to butcher this. But if you had the tools that made you more confident, you would actually be excited about having that bonding moment with your child. And that's what we're going to do, make haircuts easy.
Well, congratulations to you and everything that you're doing. The name of our podcast is the Successful Mind Podcast. And we ask all of our guests, could you leave our listeners with a successful mind tip, something that was impactful to you that you think would be beneficial to them? Yeah.
So there's two things. A, don't listen to your friends or family members about your idea, because they're always going to shut that door on you. And that's usually where most of you guys sit down and give up and go back to watching TV. B, a castle is built with a moat and with walls for a reason. Intellectual property can set you free financially, whether you patent your item and you license it to a company who's sending you royalties and you get to just sit at home and buy a Lamborghini or Rolls Royce or open a truffle farm. Or B, intellectual property allows you to corner a market and get on Amazon or at Walmart and be the only one selling this product. Or if somebody copies your product, you can hire a litigation lawyer and sue them for millions of dollars. So always think about what problems you have. Everything starts with a problem statement. Man, I keep messing up my hair. Man, I can't cut my hair perfectly. Write down all your problems. Literally, all your complaints, all your problems can lead to you just creating a simple invention. Look how simple this is. I don't think I'm special. This is a ruler that has a bunch of sides on it that made millions of dollars. Everybody has a cut buddy in them, no matter who you are. So
that's amazing. Well, anyway, congratulations to you. And thank you so much for being on the show. I know people would get great value from your story and everything that you're doing. And we wish you the best success in the world, Joshua. Thank you very much.
David, I really do appreciate you having me. If we can get one person to get off their butt and finish what they start and invent something, then we've done our job, right?
Absolutely. Where can people find out more about your products?
Thecutbuddy.com, The Cut Buddy on Instagram, Facebook, any of the socials, it's The Cut Buddy. Or you could go to Walmart and find it there. Amazon as well. So The Cut Buddy, you'll see it. Watch Shark Tank or watch HDTV, Self-Made Mansions, where just type it in, you'll see it.
Awesome, Joshua. Thank you much for being on the show. Take care.
I appreciate it, David. Have a great day.
You too.